What up, socialites, and welcome to the Socialite Podcast with me, Joe Dombrowski.
And me, Gaspare Randazzo.
On the road, as always. Come check me out in Philly and Des Moines and Springfield and St. Louis and Indianapolis and Long Island and Hartford, Connecticut and Toronto and Madison and all these other places. Get your tickets at thejoedombrowski.com.
And I will be in Portland, Naples, Queens, New York, New York City. I don't know when yet on those 2 dates because not on my website yet, but they're both coming up. Naples, Florida, Boston, Philly, West Hartford, Tulsa, Plano, Atlanta, Long Island, Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago. Get your tickets at GasparRandazzo.com.
That's GasparRandazzo.com.
Gaspar with a G.
Gaspar. So, Gaspar Randazzo. I loved doing Am I the Asshole so much that I got a few more. Can we do more?
Yeah, these are fun. I'm enjoying them. I like commenting on other people's lives.
Me too. It's amazing. Am I the asshole for telling an American woman that she wasn't German? Here we go.
Oh,
I'm a German woman, as in born and raised in Germany. I was traveling in another country and staying at a hostel, so there were people from lots of other countries. There was this one woman from the US, and we are all just talking about random stuff. She touched on the topic of cars, and someone mentioned that they were planning on buying a Porsche. The American woman tried to correct the guy and saying, that's wrong. It's actually pronounced. And then she completely pronounced it the wrong way. I chuckled and said, no, he actually said it right. She then snapped and said, no, I'm German, okay? I know how it's pronounced. So I switched to German. I have a very natural New York accent, so maybe she hadn't noticed that I was German. And I told her in German, that's not how it's pronounced. And she couldn't reply to me. And she said, what? And I repeated it in English. And I said, well, I thought you said that you were German. And she said, I am German. I just don't speak the language. I asked if she was actually German or if her great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were German. And she said that it was the latter. And I said, okay, I don't think that counts as German. So sorry, Porsche is actually pronounced like this. Porsche. And she snapped and said that I was being an entitlist and that she was just as much German as I am. And I don't want to take things further. So I just said, okay, and interacted with other people. And later on, I heard another guy that she was telling others that I was an asshole for correcting her and that I was a damn Nazi trying to determine who's German and who is not. So why did she have to react so heavily? Was it actually so offensive of me to tell her that she was wrong?
This is a tricky one. I
love this one.
So all right. So for me, my name's Gaspar, right? So when I tell people my name is Gaspar, I always get the Italian purist, and they're like, it's Gaspare. And I'm like, okay. And they're they're always, I don't know if that connects to this, but it just always annoys the shit out of me because I'm like, this is how I say it. It's my name. I say Gaspar because I live in America and I'm Americanized. I don't know, because there is a way to say Porsche the right way. It's like Porsche. Which
is probably how she's saying it. I don't know.
And she was probably just saying it the American way. Porsche, So I don't know.
I'm going to say this too. I'm not exactly going to you when it comes to pronouncing anything.
Do someone said my voice is nice, and then someone, I don't think you saw it, they tagged you in it. They were like, yeah, the best part of my days is when Joe Dombrowski tells Gaspar he sounds like a garbage truck.
You do.
No, but someone commented it on a post or something.
My biggest pet peeve with Americans, no, this is not my biggest, it's just one of them. But one of my pet peeves with Americans is when they ultra hold on to these cultural identities like you grew up in the old country in the backwoods of Prague. It's hold the fucking phone. You are of whatever descent, but you ain't never been there. You don't know
But
shit about it. You don't even speak the language. You don't know shit about shit.
What I'm saying, Gad, sorry.
So this is the other part of it too. Like if you say your name that way, that's how the name is said. If you introduce yourself as Gaspar and this asshole announces himself as Gaspare, he's Gaspare and you are Gaspar. And that's just how that shit is because he told you. That's what your names are, right? So this boils down to croissant and how I went on that rant last year about croissants. Don't be fucking going to Starbucks in order to croissant. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up because you studied in French one time when you were 18 years old on a study abroad in Nice for a week. And you're going to come over here and be like, croissant? Shut the hell up. This is the St. Louis airport. It's a croissant and you are at a Dunkin' Donuts, okay? Like, get it? Get real.
I love those memes that are like, nobody cares that you studied abroad 30 years ago. Like, it's like,
yeah.
I'm guilty of it. I always tell people, like, oh, I went to school in China. And people are like, I lived in China. And they're like, oh, how long? I'm like, just a few months, study abroad.
But you don't come back here acting like you are Mandarin.
No. Well, one can't be Mandarin. You can be Chinese.
Because Mandarin's just the language.
That'd be like, you don't come back. Well, you'd say it's hot. Yeah, Mandarin. I don't know. Old English.
I don't know. Okay. You don't come back pretending to be Chinese. Yeah. So there's that.
I'm not like, that's not how we eat it back in China.
yeah, seriously. Dumpling, it's pronounced dumpling. Like, shut the hell up. I can't handle
Dude, you know when
shit.
I was in China, they used to eat the chicken bones on the wing. They used to put the whole wing in their mouth.
Yep, and then they pull it out and
suck it, and then just pull the bone and throw the bone on the table. I was like, and when they used to eat the soup, they used to go slurp the soup, and I would be in the restaurant like I look like a crackhead just looking left and right, listening to all the slurps. I was a kid.
Wild.
So anyway, go ahead.
So that's the thing too. It's like, shut that. This woman is so American. First of all, going into another country and being like, I know more than you. And second of all, to be like so detached from your lineage, but being like, so where I grew up, Gaspar, it's even a little bit different from you. Where I grew up is all these Italian Americans who are like 3 and 4 generations away, acting like they were raised in the back streets of Calabria. Like they literally are over here and you'll like hear them yelling for it's like 3 fully American kids. The dad's my age and they'll be like, Massimo, Giuseppe, Guaralata, like Comarova, what are you doing? It's like, I can't handle you. I cannot handle you. Like you're not, this ain't it. This is not it.
But did you have a lot of like really Italian people growing up?
Yes, but where I grew up, they were really Italian, but they were really American. Like every once in a while, there would be like a legit, like my really good friend from high school, Elena Cardella. Elena Cardella speaks Italian because her parents are from Italy and barely speak English. Like she is Italian. But then you got people who's like, just like this person said in this email, great grandparents came here from Italy and they're over here doing gym tanning laundry. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, like it's crazy because like growing up, I would say majority of my friends, everyone, I went to Catholic school in a little Italian neighborhood. Well, it was a big neighborhood, but it was all Italian. Everybody in my school was Italian. There was not one person who wasn't Italian. That's it. Every single student was Italian. Isn't that wild? And
every single one?
Everyone, 300 kids, everyone was Italian. Maybe like one or 2 Irish kids, but like everybody was Italian. And everybody's like a few kids, maybe like 10, 15 kids, their parents were off the boat, but almost everybody's grandparents were off the boat. Italian.
Oh, interesting.
Like almost everybody. Like everybody that I hung out with as a kid, when we went to their houses, their grandparents spoke Italian only.
Really?
Not mine. My grandparents were off the boat, but they spoke English.
I would love to go to those people's houses and just eat all their food.
Oh, it was great growing up. Yeah.
Did I tell you I'm going to Italy this summer?
No.
Oh, this fall.
Where you going?
I'm going Tuscany for a wedding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They say Tuscany's That's the fashion one. Oh, that's Milan. I
Well,
don't know.
I'm very excited. Morgan and I are gonna do a little tour to Italy and like see some other places. But I swear to God, Gasper, I'm literally going to Italy for full blown food tourism. I want to eat everything. Like if someone's like, here is, and I'm like, don't finish that sentence. I'm gonna be like you at my wedding with the rice balls. Like
With the
literally.
amuse bouche or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna come back so fit. Ooh, baby, let me talk to you about one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. It's changed my pantry, honey. It has changed my pantry, and it's changed my body left and right because I'm eating healthy and I'm eating good with something called Hero Bread. Let me tell you what, Hero Bread's so good. It tastes real good in my mouth, and it tastes even better when it hits my stomach because it's good for you. Their products are delicious and flavorful, but they also have ultra low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and are high in fiber. I think that means it's going to keep you regular. But listen to me. I love Hero Bread. One of the favorite things that I love about Hero Bread is the Hawaiian rolls that they give you. They're great. Let me tell you what. Oh, they're regular sliced bread too. You ever make peanut butter and jelly on that? Honey, you're gonna love it. Trust me, you're never gonna want a sandwich on regular schmegular bread again. You're gonna take all the bread in your house and you're gonna throw it out because now you've been saved by a hero. Hero bread, that is. And it's super fluffy. Gasper, is it not super fluffy?
It is. It's delicious.
I love it. I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of that fluff in my boca, baby. So, are you going to change your bread habits right now? I bet you are. I bet your bottom dollar you're going to. And you're going to change it because they have tons of different options. They have like loaves of bread, tortillas, bagels, and dinner rolls, like I was telling you. And you're going to love exciting new products like 4-gram net carb bagels. Can you believe that? So I want you to get Hero Bread. Why? Because I know you're going to love it. So what are you going to do? You're going to go to hero.co and you're going to use the code social at checkout and you're going to get 10% off your order. Yeah, you heard me right. Hero is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use social at checkout. That's social at HERO.co.
If saving money and spending less is your top goal of 2025, which for me, it's been my top goal of my life since I was a little boy, all I ever wanted to do was save money because I knew one day I would need it for something. So why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for wireless? Just switch to Mint Mobile. It's the easiest way that you could save this year. And it's the first company to sell premium wireless services online only. Mint Mobile lets you maximize your savings with plans starting at $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. Look, here's the deal. You could be spending all this money every single month. You're just throwing money away for a wireless carrier, but don't do that anymore. Think about all the things you could be saving and spending. You could spend it on other stuff, the money that you're saving. You're talking about $50, $60 a month. Add that up. I'm not a calculator, but that's a lot of money. That's like $500, $600 a year that you could be saving. And with that $600, you could do whatever you want. So say bye-bye to overpriced wireless plans and crazy monthly bills. All the plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk to text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You could use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with you. You want to call, remember you met Chris back in middle school and you were like, I wonder what Chris is doing today. Then you find out he still has the same phone number. You could contact him. So ditch the plan that you have and go with the plan that you'll love. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/social studies. That's mintmobile.com/social studies. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/social studies. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Dude, you know, when I went to Italy, it was such a tainted experience of food
Well,
because
really? Why?
well, I went with students. I went on a class trip. You know, I've told you that story.
Oh, and this is your
So
first time in Italy?
my first time. So every dinner, breakfast and dinner were prefixed. And we would go to like these restaurants that was like all planned out. You know what I mean? Like it was like already established. And we would go
Yeah.
to these restaurants and they knew 30 kids were coming to their restaurant. So it was like a prefix. It was like a spaghetti, pizza, like, you know, it was nothing ever. It was just like generic shit that like you could get
Yeah.
anywhere. And then same thing with breakfast. It was just like in the hotel, it would be, you know, whatever, like an egg, nothing crazy. So then like for lunch, we would be out in the streets and they'd be like, lunch is on you. Like, so you had to get lunch wherever you wanted. So like me and the other chaperones were like, let's go here, guys, let's go here. And the kids were like, oh my God, a Burger King. And we're like, oh, hell no. And that's
Are
where
you
we would go.
serious?
Because like you had to go with the kids. You don't want the kids being like, no, the chaperone said we have to eat Italian food, you know? So like we would eat at like a pizza parlor, like a, you know, a pizzeria. And it's like, yeah, it was cool. It was good, but it was like, I'm not here for that, you know? So like one day we like snuck away. The kids went to a restaurant and we went next door to like it was like a grandma's, you know, nonna's kitchen type of restaurant. Like
Oh,
it
God.
was just
Yeah.
like the little old lady in the back and it was like the meatballs were like out of this world, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like we really
See,
didn't eat well.
I do have to say this. I do love going to different countries and going to like McDonald's or Burger King and like seeing the couple things that
Oh
are
yeah, the
different
chicken
on the menu.
parm on the menu that they had.
Yeah. Or how they have like poutine at McDonald's in Canada. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. Well, they got to accommodate. Like, you know, in India, they can't eat beef, right? They don't eat cow. So, like, they don't have
Right.
cheeseburgers. So they have like tandoor and, you know, chicken to makiki. What's that one? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Makiki, Marseille, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Chicken to tiki?
Tikka masala.
Tikka
Yeah.
No, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Tikka
Tiramisu.
masala. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, chicken tandoori. Tandoori, I was thinking of, but yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to tell you, I went to Target today with Lucy and I was like, oh, I'm eating healthy. I've been eating healthy. You can hear all about those in all of our ads that have been playing for all the different healthy foods I'm eating.
There we go.
But I've been eating healthy and I bought a pre-made salad from Target today. Did you ever get one of those from
Yeah.
Target?
A pre-made salad from Target?
Yeah,
And
like
not
just
from Target, but yeah, sometimes I buy those. Like it's like lettuce in a bag and then it's got like
no.
dressing and then croutons or whatever.
Yeah, kind of. And it's all in like compartments. Dude, it's like made to feed a 6-year-old. Like I got it for work for tomorrow and I'm literally thinking to myself, like, I am going to be famished by tomorrow. But
Yeah.
I'm trying a new thing where I'm not eating as much. Like I'm just like spacing my eating out. Like I'm not just like devouring 30 meatballs in a sitting. I'll eat like one and then wait a few minutes, then eat another. It's called self-control I'm doing.
That you have. Sometimes you just say something in such a way that like makes me laugh so hard. Like,
Well, like
like you just learned how to self-control.
Well, like last night, I was like, my stomach hurt so much. I was like, I think I'm going to throw up. I think I have food poisoning. I went on stage, I did my show. And as soon as I walked off, I'm taking pictures with the people. And the owner's like, you hungry? And I'm like, I'm starving. What's the best thing you guys make? She's like, we're kind of famous for our wings. I'm like, fire them up. And then I was like, oh, why am I doing this? Like, why did I tell her yes to wings? Like, I have stomach
Dude, I've been
food poisoning.
I've been eating so healthy. My 2 goals this year are to like eat super healthy, work out a lot, which I've been doing great, and to not waste food. Like when I buy ingredients, like before I decide, before I like find a new thing that we're gonna have for dinner, I'm going through the fridge and being like, you have these ingredients, like what can you make with like this? Like, and the biggest thing is parsley and cilantro. Why the hell did they give you so much of it? I need 5 sprigs of this shit, but by all means, give me the whole garden's worth. So I'll I'll be like, what can I make with that? Okay, a chimichurri. What goes with chimichurri is flank steak, and then so on and so forth.
That's good that you think
Anyway,
that way, though. You know?
I don't know why I'm telling you all this.
No, I'm very
But I
interested.
did find another really good Am I the Asshole?
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on
Am I
from
the
Joe eating
asshole?
cilantro.
Okay, you know what we should start doing? Let's read Am I the Asshole, the title, and then you and I both say if they're the asshole or not, just based off the title,
Okay,
and
I
then
like
we'll
it.
read the rest of it.
I like
Yeah,
it.
okay, cool. Am I the asshole for being upset that I found out my wife was pregnant via social media? You are not the asshole.
Absolutely. That's crazy.
She's the asshole. You're not the asshole.
Your own wife didn't tell. First off, I will say this before we even read it. So, like, this girl I work with, she's pregnant and she's like, I have to make an announcement online. Like, and I was like, you don't have to make an announcement, but okay, sure. If you feel the need to make an announcement,
Good for you, Gas.
Well, because I just like, I think as someone who has gone through difficult pregnancy stuff and, like we did IVF, one of them didn't take, you know what I mean? So like we could have did a pregnancy announcement and then Melissa didn't end up having that baby. It just creates a lot of awkwardness, And I don't necessarily think like you need to go out and be like, hey, I'm having a baby here, everybody. And like, I think like, people pay so much emphasis into like this big party to let the world know, like it's your world. You don't need like, anyway. So she was like talking about how she was going to make this announcement on Thanksgiving, what kind of post, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, oh, I'm just going to be like, oh, it's going to be hard. Cause I'm like all my friends and like family members are going to be like, oh, like it's going to be like cool that they found out, but some people are going to be upset. And I'm like, but why wouldn't you tell them first? like, I don't know. Like,
if you already know this, then target
like,
who those people are.
Like,
and
I was like,
them.
why wouldn't you tell them? She's like, well, because like I want it to be like this grand thing. Like, I want it to be cool. And I'm like, yeah, but like,
it is.
Like, I don't know. We
this
actually
grand thing. What are you, famous? She thinks she's gonna be in People magazine or some shit.
Whatever. But I remember we told my siblings we had the What to Expect When You're Expecting book, and we like FaceTime my niece and my nephews, and we were just like, hey, what's up, guys? We were talking to them, whatever, and then like we just casually like had the book there, and like both of my siblings were like, what is that? Wait a second. Why do you have a pregnancy book? And then like, that's how we told them. But like for us, it was different because like everybody kind of knew because like we were going through IVF. So like we were like, hey, going to implant. So like 2 weeks later, like we knew or we didn't know, So it was like always like danced around. Anyway, all right, let's hear about how this guy found out.
Yeah. Okay. I'm 29 and she is 27. We've been together for 4 years, married for 2, both from the same hometown, but currently living in a different city.
Mm-hmm.
She's at our hometown for a family event, and I stayed back due to work. We've been trying to get pregnant for 3 months, and now it finally happened. The problem is the way that I found out. My friend congratulated me by posting a screenshot in our group chat, a screenshot of an Instagram post by one of my wife's friends. The post was of my wife crying and hugging some of her friends with the caption, "You're going to be the best mom." I called her right away and she answered pretty quickly saying, "I have news, babe." And all I said is, "I know you're pregnant." And she replied, "Wow, how did you know?" And I said, "I saw it on Insta." Didn't think to call me first, huh? She said, "What? I didn't post anything." I responded, "Yeah, but your friends did. That's one way to find out that I'm going to be a dad. Thanks." And then I hung up. I was furious. She kept calling me and I didn't answer until my sister called shortly after. My sister asked me what was going on because she just arrived at my in-laws' house and everyone was freaking out, fighting, and my wife was locked up there in her room. I told her what happened and she said there's no way that she would do that. I replied, well, she did. My sister said that she was going to find out what was going on. A little later, my sister called back to explain everything. At that point, I'd been calmed down, thinking it was just a crappy friend who decided to post without permission. But my sister filled me in on the details. My wife was late on her period, and while hanging out with friends, they thought, well, what if you're pregnant already? So they bought a bunch of pregnancy tests, all of which came out positive. They freaked out, told her parents, and then texted some friends in town to come over. From the time she found out to the time her friend posted on Instagram, only 2 hours had passed. And my wife had told at least 10 people before telling me. For the record, my sister told me that the argument going on when she arrived at the house was because other friends were upset with the one who posted it on Instagram. Apparently, they all thought it was a shitty thing to do and they were mad at her. But they also couldn't understand why my wife hadn't told me sooner. Finally, I called my wife. She was crying. She
The fact
apologized
that he
and
hasn't
said that
called
she had
his
been.
wife yet was crazy in all this. Like, I would have just been like, tell me this everything about right now. Just fuck whatever. Go ahead.
She apologized and she said that she had been planning to surprise me, which she was, which is why she hadn't told me yet. I was skeptical to the point that if she really wanted to surprise me, she wouldn't have been ready to tell me right when I called her. She went silent and I told her that I needed some time to think. She yelled, saying that I couldn't just walk away, and that they needed to talk about it. I replied, why do we need to talk? You can just lie again. And then I hung up. Oh,
All right. Once again, this is another divorce from the last episode, from the last one.
A ton of people have been messaging me, but I'm honestly just exhausted. I don't know why, but this has just drained me. I've cried randomly, which is unusual for me because I'm not a crier. This is supposed to be a huge big deal, but it just feels like I've been hit by a truck. My sister sent me a message that really stuck. Hey, I know that this sucks and it was a crappy thing for her to do, but please do not let this ruin this for you. You're going to be a dad and you're going to be an amazing dad. This is so great. The only thing keeping me going right now is knowing that I'm going to be dad. I've dreamed of this all my life, and I hope that this baby is happy and healthy. I'll probably swallow my pride and pretend that I'm just fine to avoid making my wife too emotional during her pregnancy. But I'll do that tomorrow. Tonight, I'll just sit here and sulk. Wow.
All right. Here's my first reaction. It's fucking weird to me that people go on the internet and post it. Like, because I get the whole, like, you want to feel some validation for why you're feeling. And I get why people post things so that people could like be like, you're in the right, like you're the right, your wife was fucked up. So then at least you could be like, all right. Or the opposite. And then you're like, all right, I overreacted. I get it. But this seems like an issue that you should be addressing and not sitting on the internet bitching about it to strangers on Reddit who are going to tell you crazy shit. And then what? You're going to go to your wife and be like, yo, all these fucking people who I don't know think you're a bitch. And that's a problem too, like, so like, I don't really see where these people think they're going with this.
With what?
Like with this whole am I the asshole? Like the guy who gave the every minute of his day and how much time. Like you can't go, how much time he spent with the kids versus his wife. You can't go to court with that. Not real court, like battle with your wife and be like, people on Reddit said that you're a fucking shitty mom. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
But I don't know. I do think the Am I the Asshole on Reddit is pretty cool because from what I'm reading in the comments, it is giving people perspective, unbiased, of people in their life that they do not know, which I think is pretty great.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That part's cool, but like deal with your shit too. Like, I don't know.
Well, maybe this is these people's way of dealing with their shit because they don't have anyone to talk to.
And also, I get it. Like, that's a hard one because you're not going to go call your friend and be like, is my wife an asshole? And then like your friend's like, yeah, fuck her. She's a bitch. And now you're like, well, it's my wife, man.
No. I would never. I don't talk about people. I don't do that either. So here's my take on this too. I think the wife went wrong when her friends were like, oh, you haven't had your period? Let's go buy pregnancy tests. And she said yes.
No, see, I think like the excitement and the hype, I could understand that. But like she should have been like, I'm going to go home and take these with my husband around. Or
just been like, no, don't even buy them. Don't even bring them here so we're not tempted. I need to tell my husband that I'm late on my period, and then we need to come up with the husband. For all he could have been so excited to be like, yes, take it right now and FaceTime me while it's happening, and then it would have been fine.
Or you do it and you say, everybody shut the hell up about this, because like I want to go home and tell my husband, because like most women find out they're pregnant before their husbands find out they're pregnant. It's just reality. Like I think a lot of women take pregnancy tests when they're trying to actively get pregnant. You know what I mean? Like Melissa was taking them all the time. I wasn't next to her every time she took a pregnancy test, watching her pee on a stick, you know, while we were waiting. So like, I don't know. I still remember when they called us, they told us Gaspare, when we found out Gaspare was pregnant, when she was pregnant with Gaspare, they called us because we did the blood test because of IVF. And I remember they called us and they were like, hi, this is so-and-so from the doctor's office. And we were both on speaker. And then they were like, yep, you're pregnant. It was so cool. I remember we were crying. Wow. It was so exciting. With Lucy, we found out we were away and Melissa just kept taking pregnancy tests. And finally she was pregnant. Yeah.
Really?
So
that's wild. That's wild. Cool. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for clean eating, delivering pre-portioned and prepped quality whole foods with limited processed ingredients. Green Chef sends organic, fresh produce, responsibly sourced protein, and chef-designed recipes in every box for satisfying, nourishing, and convenient meals that make it easy to stick to clean eating routines. So set your health goals in motion this year with Green Chef's Reset Collection, available for limited time. So whether you're starting a weight loss journey or looking to maintain, Green Chef has you covered with a curated assortment of dietitian-approved recipes that offer fiber support, are lower in saturated fats, and come in under 700 calories per serving. Can you believe it, Gaspare? He says he can't believe it. Stay on track even on the busiest days with salads ready in 5 minutes or less. Oh, you just love salads, don't you, Gaspare? He says he loves salads, ready to blend smoothies and grab and go protein-packed breakfasts. Green Chef can help keep you feeling energized and curb cravings through dry January with a specially curated hydration bottle. But also, just because it's February, I hope that you know by dry January, I meant dry February, or also maybe even just dry 2025. Go to greenchef.com/socialstudiesfree and use code socialstudiesfree to get started with free salads for 2 months, plus 50% off your first box. What a deal that is. That's code socialstudiesfree at greenchef.com/socialstudiesfree to get 50% off your first box, plus 2 months of salad for free.
So, Joe, I found this list of questions and they're kind of funny, some of them, and I wanted to read them to you to get your perspective. Okay. Speaking on perspective of things.
Sure.
Okay. How many French fries is it okay to take from your friend before you should just order your own?
Say that again.
How many French fries is the acceptable amount to take from somebody before you should just order your own fries? Like if I'm like, oh, Joe, have a fry, and then you take another one. How many should you, before you're like, yeah, I should just go get my own?
Yeah. I think there's like instances here. Like if the person's like, please have some fries, as many as you want, that's different.
Yeah, I'm eating them all.
Yeah, like I'm going to be like, yo, I'm like going to eat these fries. Yeah. But then like, first of all, I hate when people just pick at your food. Like you and I, we're like, we eat. Do not pick at my food without like asking. If someone just like goes for one of my fries,
yeah, it's fucking weird.
You.
That's weird.
Fuck you. I hate you. And especially if we like don't know each other like that, like, no. And then, but if I'm like, oh, please, like have some, then you need to have self-control, which we know Gaspare is learning about this year. But also, if someone's like, yo, I'm not going to eat all this, like, please help me, like, go to town. Like, that's different too.
Okay. What is the most recent concert you've been to?
Whoa, you're not going to answer?
Oh, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, I really try not to touch people's food because I feel bad because I have no self control. So, like, once I start, I'm like, oh, I'm like itching, and it's like, so it's better if I don't even take a bite. I'm a monster.
Yeah. No. I get that. And that's good.
Like
Gasper, look at you,
taking
self-control. I'm
one
so proud.
fry is not going to do anything for me except make me like fuck a crack fiend for more. So I'm like, nah, it's best if I
Yeah.
don't. If I'm close with someone, it's different. You know, like what's great about having kids is they always leave shit. They'll never finish
Right.
anything. So like I'll just wait, and then at the end I just like dump the fucking table into my mouth. Like
Right.
Gaspar don't eat the crust on sandwiches. So boom, right off the bat, I make him a sandwich. I know I'm getting the whole outer layer. Lucy, whenever she wants chicken nuggets, she asks for 6. She only eats 4.5. Boom, I'm always getting 1.5 more chicken nuggets. So like, it's pretty good for me.
There you go.
So what's the most recent concert you've been to?
I went to Lake Street Dive this summer, and I don't think I've been to a concert yet, but I do love going to
What's
concerts.
Lake Street Dive?
An amazing band.
Never heard of them.
Indie.
Oh,
they're so good.
I don't even know the last. Probably 3 years ago when my dad died. I think we saw Alice Cooper. That was probably the last concert.
3 years ago was your last concert.
I don't know. I can't think. Like, I mean, I've seen like bands play, but not like a concert, you know?
Yeah.
We had tickets to see the Beach Boys when Gaspar was born. Yep. A week after Gaspar was born. And he was in,
you couldn't go.
He was in the NICU and we were like, we're not going to go. This is a good question. I like this one. Everybody has an obsession. What's yours? I like this question. Like, what's something you're obsessed with?
Obsession.
This is good.
What's my obsession?
Read the chat.
So Morgan,
look in the chat.
I already knew. It's hard being on the road. So Morgan laughs because I get into things and I get into things. Like hobbies, I get into hobbies. And then, you know, I'm kind of like a little kid where it'll kind of die out and then I'll have a period of time and then I'll get back into another hobby. Some of these hobbies always circle back. Like in the spring, I get insanely into the yard and plants. And I'm going to buy plants. I'm changing shrubs out. I'm moving plants around. I'm putting bulbs in the ground. I'm pruning. I'm like fertilizing. I get so into that. Composting, so into that, right?
Yeah.
And that one comes back every year. But then I had a little stint where you remember this, I was like really into pottery, took 3 full-blown pottery classes and bought everything except for a wheel. I have everything at my house to do pottery except for a pottery wheel.
You
Probably $1,000 worth of equipment. I don't need the shit. Or a kiln, right? I was making it's called hand building, is when you don't use a wheel. I was hand building pottery and then I was like taking it to the pottery school. They would fire it and then I'd glaze it and everything. And I was just into it. That hasn't circled back yet. There was a point in my life where I got really into watercolor. So what you're looking at, Gaspar, these were originally at one point. You like these little birds?
They're cute. You could sell them.
Yeah, I know. First of all, and also thank you. Do you know what these were going to be?
Merch?
I was so into watercolor. I was going to watercolor paint the thank you cards for my wedding and send everybody a handmade watercolored bird thank you card.
So that was recently you were into it.
And Morgan's like, you're not going to do it. And I was like, yes, I am. Did I do it? Never did it. This is dated 12/31/2023. So
yes, you were into it.
About a year ago. I was super into watercolor. Other hobbies that I've gotten... Reading, I get really into reading and then out of reading. That's been my whole life. Morgan won't let me do this one, but I want an aquarium. I told him I'm going to make a pond in the backyard this summer. He's like, please, for the love of God, do not make a pond.
It's a lot.
Like, I want a koi pond.
A lot of work.
You can't have koi ponds around here, really. You know why? the
Coyotes.
fucking bald eagles come and eat your
Um,
koi.
whoa, that'd be cool though
Which
to
kind
see.
of amazing. I know. I
Like
said the same thing.
you
Could
gotta
you
feed
imagine waking up, you're
everybody.
pouring coffee and a bald eagle's on your deck?
Remember that story with the bird outside your window?
What?
When that bird died outside your window or something with the
Oh,
bird.
that scared the hell out of me. It just
Yeah.
smashed right out the window. I went down there and all the other crows were looking at me. I had to put them in a garbage bag. It was crazy.
I would say that my like obsession is the Jets. Like
Oh, yeah, it is.
like I can read football all day. Like just football overall, but like I could just read articles like Joe, I'm so sick to the point where like the season hasn't even ended and like I'm already looking at like next year's like prospects that the Jets might take in the draft and like what position holes they would fill and
Oh,
I'm sitting
wow.
over here like figuring out like salary cap like oh well if they move his salary and defer some money here they could like as if I'm the fucking general manager of the Jets like they don't give a shit about me and I'm over here figuring out their cap situation. So like that's my obsession. And then I go through phases like I'm always in like a prison obsession. Love prisons. Like fascinated with prison shows, the ideology of prison, reading
Yeah.
about prisons, watching prison TikTok.
Your prisons are my cults.
Yes.
That'll never leave me.
Yeah.
And then your Jets is stand-up comedy for me.
Yes.
Like
yeah,
I'm
100%.
kind of crazy
Like
when it comes
you
to
look
comedy.
into everything about and I just, that's me for the Jets. And like another thing I would say is like the prison for sure, the Jets for sure. And then I like go in and out of like a TV show. Like I'll find a show and I'll get like really into it and I'll just like binge everything. But I guess that's anybody. That's not like an obsession.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So what's the next one? This is fun.
Yeah, no, there's 300 of these.
And then I do have a am I the asshole for after this? Next
all
one.
right, last one of these, then we'll do an asshole and then we'll wrap it up because I gotta take care of my kids here. What is your favorite smell? Or all right, how about this? We'll change it. Do you have
Dude, this is wild. I like love the smell. This is gonna sound crazy, but I love the smell of skunk from far away.
You know what? I can get behind that. I kind of get that. Like it has like almost that
up skunk
underground musk to it. Like you know what?
It's like bad, but like good.
I all right. Well, now that you said that, I'm thinking of one of those. Like,
and like puppy breath is like bad but good. I don't know.
Yeah, like like a newborn baby. You ever smell a newborn baby? Like when they're really little?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how babies just like smell like that.
Ugh. And then they get older and then they start to like smell. Like
yeah, gross.
Like Gaspare like smells like a little boy. You know, he's like starting to like smell. I'm like, you gotta go and take care of all that. I guess I have to because you don't know how to. Random thing.
Clean your ass.
Gaspare just his tooth fell out in school yesterday.
Shout out to the Sapo body sponge. Thanks for the sponges. Okay, keep going.
My whole life is different because of that whole conversation we had.
Your whole asshole's different.
It is. It's great. Gaspar's tooth fell out when he was eating his sandwich. So he's like, Dad, I was just in the middle of eating my sandwich, and then I felt something crunchy in my mouth. It was my tooth. It just fell into my mouth. And he was so excited. It was adorable. I loved it.
That's funny. My first tooth that I ever lost, I sneezed it out, and we were like at a big, busy kind of like festival thing. And my dad like stopped everyone from walking around us and like got on the ground and like found it.
That's cute. Yeah.
I remember it so detailed.
Dude, wait. Then Gaspare was like,
oh my God, Cassie's coming back.
No, he's like, Dad, what does a tooth fairy even do with the teeth? So Lucy fucking can't help but chime in. So she's like, she gives you money for it. So he's like, yeah, but what does he do with all the teeth? And Lucy goes, she just eats them all.
It's so quick like that.
She
give her energy.
Also,
every tooth she eats and it gives her the power
Lucy
to fly.
has like this weird irrational fear that she's going to get
Oh,
like pregnant, like that, not that she'll get pregnant, that a baby will be inside of her. So she's like, I don't want to have a baby right now. And we're like, because her teacher's pregnant. And I guess like her teacher's always like, oh, like holding her stomach. And, you know, she knows other people who are pregnant. And she's like, I don't want to be pregnant. And I'm like, you're not. Like, you're not going to get pregnant. She goes, but what if I just wake up and there's a baby in my belly one day? And I'm like, it's not going to happen. And she's like, I'm too little to have a big belly. Like that shit she says. So her and I were in Target and there was a picture of like prenatal vitamins. And
yeah.
not a picture, there were prenatal vitamins. So she goes, those vitamins look good. So I said, no, those are for mommies who are going to have a baby. So she's like, I don't want to have to take those ever. So I was like, you won't. And she's like, but daddy, what if I do wake up with a baby in me? So these two ladies were walking by, like probably like our mom's ages. And they were like listening to the conversation, laughing. It was adorable, innocent, you know, and Lucy's like, well, daddy, I don't want to ever have a baby. So like, how do babies even get inside you? So I was like, yeah. So I looked at the ladies and I go, well, why don't you help me out here? And I pointed to them and they laughed and they were like, well, honey, you have to go to a doctor when you get older. It's a baby doctor. And then the doctor will help you get a baby. And Lucy goes, whew, I'm never going to that doctor. I was like,
oh my
girl.
God.
It was just so cute.
One
right.
last, am I the asshole?
Yeah, last. Is it a quick one?
Am I the asshole for kicking my brother and his wife out of my house after they demanded I change my baby's name?
Wait a second.
I don't think you're the asshole.
Say that again?
Am I the asshole for kicking my brother and his wife out of my house after they demanded that I change my baby's name? I don't think you're the asshole.
What? I don't even understand this, so I need to hear it because it's just fucking weird.
My husband, 34, and I, 32, just had our first baby, a beautiful girl, and we named her Lena after my late mother, who passed away a few years ago. The baby has deep meaning for us, and it felt perfect. My older brother, 37, and his wife, 35, came over to meet the baby for the first time, and as soon as they heard her name, my sister-in-law's face dropped. She says Lena was the name that they had always planned for their future daughter. They don't even have kids yet, and accused us of stealing that name. At first, I thought that she was joking, but she just kept saying that we were selfish and ruined that name for her. My brother backed her up and suggested that we consider changing the name since they called dibs on that name years ago. I lost it and told them that they were being ridiculous and disrespectful, especially since the name honors our mother. When they wouldn't drop it, I asked them to leave, and now they're telling our family that I'm heartless and stole the name of their dreams while overreacting and kicking them out. Am I the asshole? You are not the asshole.
Okay. There's actually a few things here. Number one, this is why they tell you don't tell anyone the name of your baby before you know that. Did you ever hear that?
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I'm not.
Yeah, like they say, because here's the thing. You tell people the name. So let's say I go, oh, it's Gaspare.
Oh, here's another update. For the record, I had no idea that they wanted to use that name, and they never communicated to us ever. But with respect to everyone in my family, I will not now, nor will I ever change my daughter's name. And if anyone has a problem with that, they are free to fuck right off and never speak to me again. I will be going low contact with my brother and sister-in-law at such time until they put their heads out of their assholes and stop pretending to be the victims.
Yeah, no, that's
so fucking right.
Bizarre. It's just strange. But this is why you don't tell people. Number one, if you're like, oh, I'm going to name my kid Gaspar, they'll go, ooh. And then it's like, well, that's what I was going to name him. And now you just shit on my kid's name. Or they're going to be like, I know a Gaspar, he's an asshole. Like, they're going to have an opinion on the name. So just when the name baby comes out, you're like, yo, this is their name. Hate it, love it. I don't give a shit. That's not really what they're going through right now, but just in general.
The other thing too is this woman who doesn't even have a kid yet, you don't get dibs on a name. First of all, you can have cousins and they both have the same name. Your son's name is Gaspar. And also, you don't know you're having a girl. You don't know you're having a girl
but
ever.
Also, my nephew,
I know families who have 5 boys.
My nephew's name is Gaspar. It doesn't fucking matter. One is
maybe it's a new family name now. Maybe you guys are starting a tradition. If that's the name of your dreams, still name the baby that.
And it's the mom's name. So, yeah, no.
bizarre. Anyway, the great
All right, guys.
podcast, Gaspar. That was a good one. Hey, guys, thanks so much
for
for being
coming.
here. Become a Patreon member, patreon.com/social studies podcast. Write us at thesocialstudiespodcast@gmail.com. And as always, come to my show, thejoedombrowski.com.
And come to mine at gasparandazzo.com. Thanks, guys. See ya.